out today. If you watched the CFP selection committee last night, you know that there are a lot of living brain donors in the world, and they have jobs. How did they get it so wrong in some places and so right in others? Just wait until this rocks. What does that say?
This kicks in.
There you go.
It's a giant cup.
It's a giant cup. Look, folks, got a great one today. Do us a favor. Take a picture with your cell phone. Be cool, okay? Take a picture of the QR code. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And folks like Max Howe watch us every day, and Maury Gaston and David Baker, all on Facebook. And it's a gigantic medium. And thank you so much for doing that. We got Coach Ellis Johnson, Coach Pete Cordelli, Coach Matt Dean going to check in with us. Dave Bartoo will be in shortly thereafter. And we are going to try to solve all the world's problems in the next hour of power. I will say this right now, Brendan. I wasn't surprised at anything. I was, it's debatable. Was Alabama with 3 losses? Did they deserve to get in? Because they played in a conference championship game, because they would have only had 2 if they didn't. So that'll be the first thing we're going to throw out. But let's get everybody.
They should learn how to run the ball, maybe.
Yeah, -3 yards. Yeah. Pajama football, as Matt Stinchcomb calls it. Where did the offensive lines go? I don't know, but I did get Audrey a good sleeping suit at Costco yesterday for like $12. That's what they're wearing now. They're wearing sleeping suits, and
wow,
sleeping suits. But
I don't know how that enters your brain, but that's all right.
Yeah, I know. Wait till this stuff kicks in here, okay? And Dave will give us all some gummies. Audrey, have a great day. We love you. But Matt, you got it's 3 coaches over here together. I love it. I tell you right now, I still, when I see my coaches that I knew.
He knew him, but then they cut him off in witness protection.
Still call him coach.
There he is, Rob. Right. Call Elon, Rob, because your Starlink is starting to jitter up.
Oh, no. We cannot allow that. Can't allow that to happen. But Matt, say hello to everybody, to my little friends. We're going to talk about this incredible selection last night. And Matt, the SEC with 5. Were you shocked at that? And I'll let you bounce around. I'm only going to keep you yourself for about 10 minutes. You got to get to practice.
Well, actually not practice. It's finals week at Rhodes College. As Coach Cordelli knows, as a former Rhodes College coach, academics, just like Notre Dame, when he was up there with Dr. Holtz, comes first. But for me, it's an honor to be on with you guys. I'm normally a Thursday guy. I've done this 3 years with Rob on Thursday.
6 years.
Is it 6, man? Yeah. It's just like dog years, whatever. But anyway, you guys, I listen to you on Mondays. You may be the best hour of my week. So I said, Brownie, I need to get on with these guys. I haven't seen Coach forever. Yeah. But I had a quick thought, and I wanted to bounce it off to the much more experienced coaches in this room than I am. So, like, if you look at the conference championship games, everybody fell except for Bama that lost in the game. Ohio State went to 2. Virginia fell. I know that game didn't matter as much as others. It did to some. And BYU fell. Now, I think Miami still should have been out, and this was my rationale, Coach Cordelli. I am fighting for the Fighting Irish here. Yep. I think if you listen to the rationale, then Bama should have fell behind Notre Dame. So the comparison should have been between Bama and Miami, which I still think Bama wins if you look at the resumes. But we get away from the Notre Dame-Miami head-to-head that way because of the BYU loss. That's what we were told. Why didn't Bama lose after a thorough domination? I mean, why didn't they fall to 9? That's my question. Because Notre Dame bumps them. So Notre Dame's now playing Oklahoma. Alabama's the 10 seed going to A&M, and Miami's out. That was what by the logic that he told us, that's what I thought should have happened. But I could be wrong, coaches.
No, Matt, I totally agree with you. What I would like is clarification as to what do we put more emphasis on in the criteria?
Yeah.
Is it conference championships or strength of schedule? Head-to-head competition. We have all these different metrics, whatever they want to call them. I cannot believe when you go with strength of schedule, all right, obviously Notre Dame not being in a conference, but Notre Dame is 11th in strength of schedule.
Right.
Indiana's 1, Ohio State's 2, Alabama's 3, Oregon's 4. I understand that. Let's go back to conference championships. Ohio State got beat. They got their ass shut out in the second half.
Yes.
How in the hell are they above Georgia,
Agreed.
who absolutely mollywopped the RTR boys down in Tuscaloosa? I don't understand how we can just change every week and say, well, let's go with the first 2 games of the year. You know what?
Agreed.
Take a lesson from college basketball. And Coach Dean, you were the best head basketball coach at Rhodes, and now you're back, and those girls will benefit from your knowledge. But why in college basketball, they play 30 games basically, right, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Why does the selection committee go with the emphasis on the last 10 games played?
That's who we are.
Number one, your team changes.
Absolutely.
Whether it's personnel, injury, or scheme. Teams get right hot at the right time. A third of a college football schedule with 12 games is your last 4 games. Alabama, in the last 5 games, has rushed for 550 total yards. Total. Sane has thrown 6 interceptions and had 2 fumbles. All right, excuse me, Simpson. All right, Simpson.
Yes.
Strength of schedule, though, they're 3. I got all that. But you can't tell me that Miami, Notre Dame, and Alabama aren't different teams here on December 8th than they were August 31st.
Bingo.
College football has been behind the 8 ball forever. They don't play preseason games. They don't have jamborees. They don't have scrimmages. Ellis knows this because you're still working through the month of September to get the right personnel on the field. And even now, with the transfer portal, you're trying to figure out who fits and who doesn't. And October is when you fit. Your best football should be played in November. And I don't want to hear about Notre Dame's schedule. You know what? All those kids played what was presented to them.
Yep.
And don't give me that crap. They should be in a conference. They've nationally recruited since 1928, and it's worked out pretty damn well for them. I think, how in the hell do you put James Madison and Tulane in ahead of if it's conference championships, then why is Ohio State still above Georgia?
Yeah.
I don't, the inconsistencies, but Hunter Yurchak is the Arkansas AD, and he doesn't want to hear from Greg Sankey about what are you doing. And you know what? Human bias exists.
Yes.
Hunter Yurchak is holding on for his job. He's hoping Kevin Scanlon doesn't kick his ass out and get moved up to the AD, since Scanlon runs the Razorback Foundation and holds all that money at Stevens Inc. in Little Rock.
On the river. Yep.
So guess what? If we're talking about money, Kevin Scanlon runs the foundation's money. He's going to be the next AD at Arkansas. But they don't want to answer to your check.
Yeah, they don't.
Give me a reason why Ohio State is ahead of Georgia after Georgia's playing some of its best football and not having Drew Bobo at center.
Yeah.
And every team right now has injuries. Yeah. That's just November football, man.
Yeah.
But here, you're not getting better. And for Notre Dame to be left out, I'm glad they're not going to a bowl game. You know why? You don't need it. Because at Notre Dame, every game you play is for the national championship. They started out with 2 of the tougher teams in America. So, but guess what?
You know what, though, Pete? I agree with you, and Dave's in now, and Matt, Ellis. The bottom line is, college football's behind. And Dave, I got your intel, and I stuck with my pick from all summer that Georgia would play Alabama for the SEC championship, and Georgia would win. Boy, did they ever cover. Dave, you just heard that dissertation, and -3 yards by Alabama. They haven't had that few yards rushing, David Bartoo, the Frenchman from the West Coast, since 1968. You weren't even born yet.
Barely, but you think that's bad. Did that in a nice little heated dome. Wait till they go to 20 degrees on the plains in Norman.
Yeah.
So that's my pick in that game. They ain't rushing that game either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Matt, that was a great question. We got everybody riled up. And Thursday we're going to have some raw. I'm going to try to get somebody from the committee on here Thursday, Matt. So be ready when you come back on Thursday to go at it, because Pete's answer was one for the ages. Ellis,
Well, but I want to know, Bartoo, what's your take on Notre Dame and not being in? What you didn't really weigh in there.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I was letting Pete go on his biased Notre Dame rant there.
You're right, and I will. I got a check from him for 5 years in a national championship race. You're damn right. And my youngest daughter was born there and baptized by Father Hesper. You're damn right. I'm biased.
I'm going to mute you. I'm going to have to mute Cordelli.
Hey, I have my biases too. Look,
yeah, I see that hat you have on. I got you.
So Cordelli's
exactly. Actually, you know something? I'm trying to get my advanced scouting reports to the Ducks, but
I got it.
James Madison.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It's tough when it's tough when when the Domers aren't as good as James Madison. I get it.
But actually the first one, it was cool. Yesterday, the first coach that got a hold of me yesterday was Mario. And so the first group of reports I sent out was everything that we had on A&M. I mean, it goes right down to the report where the film team can go right to the minute and second situational plays occurred. So we've been blasting those out there. And also, for Oregon versus James Madison, it's not about what I think is going to happen to the game. It's my alma mater. I want to be working with them, man. Are you kidding me? Just like you want to see Notre Dame getting in there. Now, did Notre Dame get screwed? Yeah, I believe they did. And that was one of the national championship contenders on paper, because they have the performance level, they have the coaching level, they have the recruiting level to win a national title. The only other teams that are in it that have those numbers are Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas Tech. That's it. And I think it's interesting with Notre Dame, they have such a strong run game, and the number one issue for a lot of teams out there is run defense. So not only did they get rid of one of the top 3 offenses in the country, they just got rid of one of the most balanced teams in favor of a team that lost 3 games, that had a bad loss, one of 2 bad losses in the top 20 on their resume, has lost 2 out of 3. The one they did win was a sub 500 team that they barely got by. We ran the regression and information through the last 12 years of college football playoff rankings, final rankings 1 through 20, the last 12 years. So 240 teams, every strength of schedule, every game control, every win, every loss, every top 25 win. The Bama at their current ranking level is literally the most out of bounds of the data in 240 teams over the last 12 years.
Wow. Ellis, you're way in on what they did. This is great stuff, man.
Well,
awesome.
First thing, that's what we talked about several weeks ago. As long as this stuff's done by committees and personal feelings and all this stuff, and I definitely think they're human influences. The last time I think we were on with Matt was the last time we had the playoffs, and it took a basketball guy to have some insight as to how those seedings fell. And it was something I hadn't even looked at. I was just looking at who got in, who didn't get in, and he was looking back at who got play who, in the first rounds. We probably need to hire some basketball coaches and get the hell out of the way and let them set up the brackets.
Right.
Because we're trying to be the NFL and the old college football at the same time, and it's not going to work. We're going to have these same little panel discussions we're having right now as long as this system exists. I mean, it's a bunch of baloney. So, I don't know. Everybody thought if we got up to 12 teams that argued over who was 2 and 3 wouldn't be a big deal because everybody would get a chance. And by the time you get down to number 11 and 12, nobody would care what you thought. Well, guess what? You got 3 of the most blue blood teams in America involved in this one. And it's going to make them do some things really drastic, I think. It's got to change it a bunch.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is, Dave Bartoo, if you went like Lane Kiffin, speaking his name is scary, but he said 1 through 16 straight seating. Does anyone on this panel here like straight seating? I do. I'd say let the best fight it out.
Something, every action, there's a reaction. Okay. 12 teams, everybody's going to bitch about 10, 11, 12, 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It's just going to be the same thing over and over, right? No matter how you tweak it, there's going to be somebody that's butthurt because they're let out, because they're just one play away from not getting in and so forth. So, it's almost, I was thinking about it. How do you make it simple? Because I agree. When there's a committee, you're putting in the hands of somebody else. It'd be kind of cool if it was sliding. Is certain win total, some sort of line in the sand where, well, this year there's 12 teams that qualify. Let's roll. This year there's 14. Here's how we're going to play it. I know that's not plausible. But it would be nice to have some way where everybody knew where they needed to be at the beginning of the season, regardless of the outcome, and that things moved to put teams in and out based on some sort of line in the sand. But, there's no perfect answer, and there never will be.
Well, this is starting to remind me of that famous quote that Joseph Stalin said, "It doesn't matter how many votes you get, it matters who's counting the votes." It's this committee, guys. Matt, before you go, just your parting comments on the committee and that basketball reference that Ellis made. I think you spot on because you are Mr. Basketball.
Well, Dave, I want you to know I did forward your analytical email to my son prior to the Washington game. So I'm still trying to set up a meeting with you and him postseason. Right now, he's kind of in a cave because he helps with the scouting at JMU. But I will say this, and Coach Johnson, I appreciate the reference, but I've been on a couple Division III national and regional calls. And one of the things we do a lot is metrics, because we don't have the money to have a lot of head-to-head competition. As Pete knows, he was with us for a few years. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to compare teams that played at all in a lot of situations when you're determining those matchups. So the calls I've been on, I had to recuse myself a couple times because my team was being considered. But one of the things that always mattered were bad losses, because that was an easy metric. And I think right now we all would agree maybe one of the worst losses of a playoff team would be Alabama and Florida State. If we want to go back and compare Notre Dame, Miami, then we got to go back and compare Alabama, Florida State. That's all I'm saying. Notre Dame should be in the field. And I'll tell you why they're devastated also, in my opinion. They know they could have won the whole damn thing. They have the best running back. In my opinion, the Heisman candidate, Jeremiah Love, is the best player in college football besides Caleb Downs of Ohio State, in my opinion. I love Jeremiah Love, and their running game, like you said, Dave, they could have got to the championship game again like they did last year. They could have won it this year. Just saying, that was a bad decision to move Notre Dame out. One of the worst I've seen in all these committees.
Yeah. And the manipulation was not letting Alabama be compared to Notre Dame. They manipulated it. I believe that. They got it somehow to where they were comparing Miami and Notre Dame.
That's right.
And why? Because they wanted to protect that SEC team.
The head-to-head Miami Notre Dame became the talking point rather than, and Ellis, that's a great point. Well, Miami, I'm going to tell you what, your team in September is not the same team that you have in December. That's just sports.
Yeah, it's life.
What do coaches say? Yeah. We got to get better every week. Even when you win. Oh, yeah, we got things we got to work on. And we got to find the right personnel. Alabama, you know what? Put them in. That's fine. But and now we have rematches in the first round. Tulane and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss mollywop those guys during the regular season.
Yeah.
Oklahoma to Alabama. Why? Why? And then, look, I'm all for Notre Dame getting in, and I agree with Matt, and I agree with Dave. For them to say we're not going to a bowl game, that was a player's decision. A team decision. They had a team meeting, and you know what? College football is not better off for it. What I would really like to see is after these 12 teams get in, 13 plays 14, 15 plays 16. Dave, going back to your point, or if we had just seeding, get the highest ranked teams playing each other in the bowl games.
Yeah.
What's the number one concern right now? We don't have good enough games in the bowl games. Bowl games are half full, other than the parents of players and the band. You know, I mean, come on, man. We can do this if you take those higher ranked teams. And 13 versus 14 goes to the bowl game that pays the most. So you get the most money. There used to be a time when bowl games, the payout was printed. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore. It's like the Citrus Bowl was number one and then somebody else. So 13 versus 14 goes to the highest paid bowl. Hey, bowl committees, you want to get your best team? Pay more money. This is America, man. You know what? You want the best? Pay for the best.
Yeah.
We're doing it with NIL.
Yeah.
Texas Tech. I mean, wow.
Yeah, watch Landman. Dave, along that line, and again, that intel that you sent out, I sent it to Frank Duffy and Doug Dean and the guys on this group here. You sent it. That was powerful stuff. Kirby Smart, best defensive coordinator in college football now that Ellis is retired in the last 15 years, because Ellis was a badass. I mean, Ellis, I'm just talking to people who played under him and people that were GA. It's really cool to talk to Travis Williams, who was your GA in 2013 and 14. And I hope he gets back in at a place where they will put NIL money into defense. But Dave, there's always going to be an argument. That's what makes college football so great. Kirby Smart's teams, they just play the full 60. They weren't this or that. Pete's exactly right. In everything we do, we get better. Every repetition's the mother of all skill. By the committee doing what they did, they're ignoring all the tenets of what makes sports what they are. Can you extrapolate anything from what I just said?
No, it is, you know, to me, when I'm looking at the committee, you know, there's really not a lot to talk about other than those last three teams, you know, and I know Pete was going off a little bit about Ohio State, but to me, that's tomato. You know, 1 through 8 was literally by the book. You know, I mean, myself and my team, we don't watch the games, and we've just been using the same math formula for 12 years, and it's been almost exactly right every week, 1 through 16. You know, the two weeks before, the anomaly was moving. You know, everybody won, but Alabama moved up and Notre Dame moved down. And I went to Twitter and I said they toggled something outside the numbers. And I even you can go look at my Twitter account. I wrote that it appears they are moving Alabama not up, but Notre Dame down, anticipating a BYU loss to put Miami right next to Notre Dame to call it head-to-head, and Notre Dame is going to be out. I wrote that last Monday, right? Not because I believed it was going to happen. It's because having watched the numbers and committee behavior for over a decade, that's what my gut told me was happening. Did I want it to happen? No, I didn't. Because I didn't think it was right, especially after Alabama again got smoked in the championship game. And, you know, but it is what it is, right? And if we don't have this discussion, there's no sensationalism, right? This is why we have the AP Top 25 preseason. So the sensationalism, so we have stuff to talk about. And as soon as people stop talking about it, it goes away. So I think part of it is a built-in sensationalism to piss people off, to get them to talk about it on their sports show every Monday morning.
Well, I mean, I think what's going on too is there's always going to be this debate that the best teams didn't get in. You don't really have that in college basketball. Ellis, you really brought up a great point that ignited this. I like that.
Well, a little bit of what Pete just said. They need to quit having the shows during the week. They're just for entertainment. These shows coming leading up to the final show.
Yeah.
That's where it starts a bunch of this stuff. Now, the way they finished it, it would have still been some clamoring. But if they would quit coming on 4 and 5 weeks before, and so because you watch some of these little things Dave just talked about, it's every friggin' year. They move people around down there in the 9 and the 12 and the 18 spots. Yeah. And you don't pay attention to it because you want to know who's number 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
They're maneuvering these things. And I mean, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but I think some of the things y'all pointed out a while ago, there are conference biases, there are personal biases, there are loyalties to teams and things of that nature. I'd get the human. You can't get the human element totally out of it.
Can't.
But until we stop taking the qualifications, if you will, and then letting a group of men make the final call, instead, get them in a room now, and for the next 5 months, figure out a great criteria, and then hand it over and just let the thing play. Just sort of like the BCS. I don't know what was in the BCS rules, but set them up, and however the hell it shakes out, then you don't have an athletic director from a certain conference at a certain team making a decision about another football team in the same conference. As long as you have that, you're going to have human bias, just like officials, just like referees, just like everything else we question in this sport.
Hey, Ellis, you bring up the BCS. The Mountain West had 4 teams that were going to qualify for the championship game. Guess how they used to break the criteria or to set the criteria? They went back to the BCS model, put the information in the computer, and they came out with UNLV and Boise. Yeah. They did it this year. Man, I got to tell you, I got 2 disturbing phone calls last week about a movement that's going on amongst the players and college and agents. Both these coaches are at Group of 4 schools, and both said, Coach, there's a movement going on that if players aren't paid for playoffs, they're going to boycott starting within the next 2 years. And I asked both of them, I said, fellas, where's it coming from? And they said, well, a couple places. Number one, some of these players have brothers, cousins playing in the NFL, and the agents are representing them as well. And the whole deal is, man, we get paid. Wild card round, everybody gets 20 grand. Conference and you go all the way up, first round. You guys aren't getting paid. 2 different guys bringing up the same thing, and they said, Coach, within 2 years, conference championship games this coming weekend aren't going to be played because teams are walking out. God. And then I had another one tell me the reason why Kansas State and Iowa State decided not to go to the bowl game, ADs from both schools went in to the current team and at a team meeting and said, okay, with the coaches leaving, how many guys are going to play? And they said 80% raised their hand and said, we're out.
Wow.
They wouldn't have had a team to field. And it was very telling that the athletic director from Kansas State came out and said, we're not playing a game because we don't have the right representation for our team, our school, this program. Players are controlling this whole thing. But number one, unless players get paid, starting for the playoffs and bowl games, they're going to boycott. That is in motion right now. And so, the other thing you got, early enrollees, Ellis. These guys enrolling now in January. Guess what they're wanting? Money. So now you got a couple of them said, well, Coach, look, I know I don't get my contract till July 1, but you got to pay me January to June. So now These athletic departments are like, oh, shoot, why do we have all these kids coming in January? We got to pay them.
Well, look, there's some stuff going on in NIL that I saw firsthand over the weekend for people. There are people in financial services on Wall Street that make $200 and $300 million a year. Some of these hedge fund managers making $700 and $800 million a year, and now they're getting kind of excited. And I read some text from some. It's just unreal, guys. If we don't get control of this, we're going to start having hedge fund managers, money managers buy college football teams. I'm telling you right now, that is going to happen. It's already happened at Texas Tech with Cody Campbell. Sold his oil and gas company with his partners for $4.5 billion. That was his take. And if you don't think Ole Miss has money, you're out of your mind. This is you're never going to see Ole Miss back at 7-5, 8-4, and them excited. Dave Bartoo, you heard those numbers. You're a numbers guy. Give us some data on guys not playing in bowl games. I mean, but I'll tell you what, it's a problem too. Talk to doctors, and they're dealing with the residents in medical school. They're bitching and moaning and going to HR about having to do the 36-hour shifts, the rotations.
Yeah, for free, right?
Yeah,
and dealing with that, you know, it is. It's really impossible to comment on finances and how these schools are handling it because the target is moving 24/7.
Yeah, I
mean, this hasn't been settled for years, and every month it's something different.
Yep.
And so I think it'll continue that way until again a line in the sand is drawn. And it seems like to me all this is steaming towards collective bargaining, so that it's, you know, everybody's on the same page. So when you sign here, here's what the deal is when you come into this league now. And I think it's unfortunate for everybody involved that the sport, the system is so discombobulated that really year over year the change is so deep and affects so many people. It's hard to get a grasp on it. Look at it. We're talking about something that's coming down the pipe, and none of us have an answer to it. None of us knows what it means in terms of the future or where is this money coming from. You know, I get it. Yeah, you want to get paid for the playoffs and bowls. Cool. Where's that money coming from? You know,
there's only one body that
can be robbing Peter to pay Paul. And maybe this is where this private equity is coming in and trying to turn college football into the NFL so that traditions are gone and nobody cares until it gets to the playoffs.
Yeah,
there's only one body that can actually put that line in the sand you're talking about, and it's got to be a congressional law. I mean, that's how it's just got to be like the NFL. If it does not come from that, you get your butt kicked in court every time.
Yeah,
they're going to side with the kids every time.
Yeah. How did we? And Matt, I know you want to say something about a coaching move. This is a big deal, but I can tell you right now, y'all all see it. I see the money. I mean, I'm going to have a little group call with y'all after the show and tell you something, and it'll blow your mind. I don't even know if I don't want to say it on the air. I think it'll make people cry. It's so out of control. But Matt, talk about a positive thing in the coaching change, because we better get some structure. Congress could screw up a 2-car funeral, but we got to figure out something. Maybe the Supreme Court, but they're never going to go against life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's how this all started, Matt.
Well, the first thing I want to say is something when I met Coach Cordelli probably a decade ago, he told me that resonates more than anything I've ever heard is the group you can never fool is the players. I mean, Coach told me that a long time ago. And to his reference point, the players are figuring this out too, via the agents, families, whatever. They know that, hey, okay, this contract that I signed, it should relate to the entire body of work. And I think that's coming, Coach. You're 100% correct. And if we ever see – I think the reason it's going to happen sooner or later because we never want to have a team boycott a situation, right? That could be the worst look ever. Also, I just want to relate to a hire. I know, Dave, you've got some great data on different coordinator hires, but I think one of the best position group hires was just made at LSU. there's a man named Elijah Robinson who I have a lot of respect for, played for Joe Paterno at Penn State. He was with my son at A&M. He's a D-line coach. I remember in preparation for a bowl game, it may have been the Orange Bowl when A&M was playing North Carolina, we had a young man named Justin Matabuke who now is with the Baltimore Ravens, and my son was working with Elijah on a presentation to convince him to come back for his senior year so he could go from like a second-round pick to a first-round pick, right, whatever the deal is. But I just think Elijah Robinson will be one of the best recruiters, and you may not even hear his name because you're going to hear about the OC, the DC, and Lane. But Elijah Robinson is a huge hire of a great position of need. I mean, you get a great D-line coach. We all think about how important the line of scrimmage is, but Elijah is even a better recruiter, and he's a great human being, and he took care of my son when he was first in the industry. So that's really just what I want to pass that along to you guys because I thought it was a big hire.
And also talking about your son.
Elijah in our system, just to let you know, Matt, I mean, we've been grading coaches since 2010. We have over 15,000 coaches in our database. Elijah Robinson, active defensive line coaches, is the top 3 grade in the entire country. This is one of the best defensive line coaches. He is borderline 5-star coach, which is nearly impossible in our system. And he is absolutely a star, in my opinion, at least on paper, right? On paper, you and your son, you know the connectivity, but that guy, and I love the unit guys, right? Yeah. Because Blake Baker, I wrote my article on him and all the data on him as a DC, and I just added in Elijah and a little bit of note on him. Just like Nebraska hired Rob out of San Diego State, but what a lot of people aren't talking about is Jeep Wade, who Matt Rule just took from Georgia Tech, is a top 10 graded offensive line coach in the country. So I love talking to these unit guys, man. You fly into Portland for this James Madison game. I'll pick you up at the airport and we'll just talk football and coaching for the entire day while we cheer on the Ducks, buddy.
Hey, I wish I could be there. I'm coaching in New York City. My 2 favorite teams in the world are the Oregon Ducks and the Chicago Bears, who lost a tough game to the Green Bay Packers yesterday. They played better. Let me tell you what, on December 20th, we have to play St. Mary's of Maryland, New York City, when the Ducks and the Bears are playing, because that game got flexed to Saturday night at 7 o'clock. I'll be flying back to Memphis, Pete. I'm going to be miserable because I'm not a tech guy. I'm going to have my phone. I'm going to try to get the Wi-Fi so I can watch the damn game. It's horrible.
Hey, tell them, Matt, y'all, this is something else, a big deal. Your son is a finalist, Final Four, and also he just turned down an opportunity. You can talk about that if you want to.
I better not.
No. I'm just saying it's an incredible story right here, real quick, and then we're gonna get back rapid fire on this Monday. First off, I want to say thank you to all of y'all for sharing your time with us. I'm getting chills just hearing this because y'all are so smart. There's a lot of intellectual power here, and we got the best executive producer, Brendan Martin, behind the screen here making this happen. But Blind Squirrel Sports, any thoughts on Greg Sankey not congratulating Kirby's Canines on winning the SEC? If I'm not mistaken, he also failed to congratulate them last year after handing over the trophy. As Auburn football coach Alex Golich would say, "Niet, I know nothing." But anyway, Matt, talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I try to not brag about my kids, but I got to do this one thing. Football Scoop has these finalists, Dave and Pete and Ellis, for kind of like behind the scenes people, So Tyler is one of the 4 finalists for DPP of the year. And he's had some opportunities, Dave, as you know, with some of the coordinators moving at Oregon. And, my son doesn't call me very much. But when he calls me, it's always related to a job, Pete, because he wants my opinion. I said, "Hey, you're married now, boy. That's not my conversation." But I told him, when you're working for the best GM in the business, Marshall Malco, who I got to know really well, and Dan Lanning, guys, I got to tell you what, I've been in that building several times. He is such a leader of men. He combines analytics with leadership and obviously resources, as we know with Phil Knight. It's fun. And the only thing that I don't like about him being in Oregon, to be honest, it's a hard flight, Dave, to get out there. For me to get to Eugene, Oregon, man, and it's not easy. But it's been a really – hey, Pete, he remembers you well. And when he got in the industry, he went with Coach Dickey, had hired him to A&M to work with Jimbo. He was with there 4 years. The last year he was there, they had the number 1 class in the country. Marshall went with Lanning. They're really close to Oregon. Tyler took a chance and went there, and it's paid off. And the thing I told him, I said, hey, look, I work in a building. I've been here 35 years. I work for the guy whose name's on our basketball floor. And I said, son, don't bounce. You're going to get fired. He's already got fired at A&M. I get that. But you know what? If they like you in that building and it's working, you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave. So I just
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you this. When I was at Rhodes College, Tyler Dean slept in his dad's office doing his schoolwork and doing basketball analytics and breakdowns.
He helped me. You're right, Coach.
That guy was relentless at doing the job the right way.
Yeah.
Matt's 2 sons are 2 of the most special guys I've ever met. But Tyler, he's going to be a big time GM and I know he's going to have opportunities, but he is a special guy. Takes after his dad, though. Matt Dean's the hardest working guy in that building over at Rhodes.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to tell you what,
coach.
when you get Dave and meet with Tyler, that's going to be cool because that is your school, Dave. And I love the hat, by the way. And when you come down here to duck hunt, you got to bring. I'm going to pay you for one of those hats. I got to have one. And by the way, folks, let me just say something about the gummies that Dave has. Also, hempforpros.com. I'm going to tell you right now, you will not sleep better than these lights out gummies. There's no sleep hangover. And you just absolutely, about 30 minutes before you go night-night, take one, and then they've got the chill and the energy. And my kids and people that know me, like Michael Jordan, goes, Brown, that dude out in Oregon, I go, Dave Bartoo, he goes, I love him. He goes, why? He goes, because when he gives those chill gummies, you're so easy to be around. So I'm just saying that they work. They're really, and the energy gummies, holy shnikes, man. I feel like Chris Farley on Letterman, man, but they're really good. But anyway, back to the show. I got to tell you, this is wild stuff. And Dave, I had Georgia to win the SEC, and they dominated. But let's talk about, do you think there is an SEC team looking at this 12-team menu that can win the national championship?
Yeah, they have the talent to do it. It's just the performance numbers aren't there like the last 26 national champions. I mean, that's really the bottom line for me when I'm looking at the numbers, because we know that talent wins championships, right? I mean, a top 10 recruiter over the last 4 years has won 24 of the last 26. Okay. The only 2 teams that weren't top 10 recruiters over the last 4 years had first round NFL quarterbacks behind center. Okay. Michigan and Clemson. That's it. Everything else is a top 10 recruiter. Is Georgia top 10 recruiter? Yeah, they are. Is Alabama? Yep. Ohio State? Oregon. Okay. So was Notre Dame. And talent wise, it's there. But when you look at your last 26 national champions, at the end of the regular season, it's about elite performance. Top 3 offense, top 3 defense has won every single title in the last 26 years. Okay, you either have one of each or you have both. Like that, what was it? Was it the 2009 Alabama team that was number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense, and they were the second slowest pace of play. They were like the biggest anaconda in the world. I mean, once that game was kicked off, it was literally over. They just squeezed you to death. Just glorious football on paper. Yeah. But there's nobody there. This SEC title game, the first time since I've been keeping track of numbers, there was no top 10 offense or top 10 defense in the country in that game. None. Right? That's where Bama and Georgia used to live. Yeah. And now the depth's gone. And the rotation of players. The football is not as consistent. It's not as good. It just isn't. A&M has a good offense, top 10. Defense isn't even in the top 50. So do I trust A&M? No, I don't. Oklahoma, they got a top 5 defense. Their offense isn't in the top 75. There's just no elite team, no elite balance. There's elite talent. There's elite coaching, but the performance hasn't been elite. So right now, could they do it? Yes. Would I bet against them doing it? Yes, as well.
I like the comment from from Stone Temple Pilots or whatever it was. The one Stone Angel. Sorry. I like the interesting. I'm going to throw it out there. Georgia right now is the SEC's best chance, and Jeff Boone's watching. Love this guy. Michael Jordan was lying about the chill gummies. No, he was not. They work. But I think Georgia can win this whole thing. And I say that because they are so relentless at playing the full 60, and Nate Frazier's running the ball better than he's run all year, but you're not seeing the great passing numbers from Gunnar Stockton. I mean, he doesn't – he's kind of an old John Lastinger, Buck Bellew type quarterback for Georgia. Stetson Bennett, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, had much bigger passing numbers. Ellis, come back, Ellis. But I just – man, that's the best. Is there any other team out there in the SEC? Can Ole Miss do it, the Orphan Brigade, without a coach? Anybody think they could do it?
No.
Vanderbilt. You know, I'm sorry, they're not in.
Yeah.
But I'm with Bartoo. Diego Pavia is going to win the Heisman.
Yes.
You better.
You've convinced me, Dave. You have convinced
better.
me. Let me say
He
this.
better. As soon as he walks off campus, that team's bowl ineligible, even if they're not playing in their bowl.
No, I'm going to tell you. Watch this kid they signed, Jared Curtis. He is a big time dude now. He if he doesn't get hurt, he's a Sunday player now. Jared Curtis is a big time quarterback. He's 6'4", 220, and let me tell you, he is special.
Oregon tried to recruit 2 Pete. I agree.
Yeah, he can run the same offense Diego has, only he's faster and a better passer. Now, will the talent around him be what they have? But Dave, you convinced me. Diego Pavia should win the Heisman. You flipped me, man.
Well, if he doesn't,
especially since Jeremiah Love's not playing anymore.
Well, Dave,
the truth will set you free, Peter.
Bartoo, I have adopted into my daily nomenclature your term elevator. Okay, about guys that elevate the play of everybody. This panel elevates the intellectual firing of the synapses of the brain and the cerebral cortex and the frontal lobe like no other group. It's incredible. But I'm going to tell you what, if Diego doesn't win the Heisman, why give it out to anybody? Because without him, you're right, they're bowl ineligible. But now Jared Curtis coming in, it is going to be different. Ellis, defensively, looking at it, it's like, you know, Dave's the orthopedic surgeon. You're the vascular, the heart surgeon. You're the neuro, general practice. Well, you're specific too. You're the spine guy. I'm the general practice guy. But Ellis, Kirby's defense, Alabama's defense, they're good. I mean, Kirby's defense, not top 5. But I got to ask you about your thoughts on Pete Golding at Ole Miss, going to be steering the ship through the playoffs. I'll just go on a record and say the biggest sporting event in the history of the state of Mississippi is going to be played when Tulane comes to Oxford. My goodness, if you own property, a condo, rent it out, you can name your price, and you can probably pay your mortgage for a year off of one weekend of football.
Real quickly before that, what we're talking about a while ago, we said these are not the same teams that they were back in August. So you tell me who's playing better defense than Georgia right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I agree with Dave. They don't have the quality of depth they used to have with some of those teams that won championships, but they're playing top 3 defense right now at this point. Now, can they do that through the playoffs? Who knows? Taking care of the football, they're making a few more. Pete mentioned the other day, and it's been true except for one game. They're throwing the ball downfield a lot better now, and it's opening up the running game, and everything's getting more in balance. So I don't know. I just think I said it last week. They're the mentally toughest and physically toughest because too many teams today don't practice the way they need to have a good physical football team on Saturday. Now, what you asked me, I think Pete's got a hard job. If he had a little bit more of that offensive staff stayed in place and was able to kind of keep that from being a distraction, I assume he's going to call the defenses, but maybe he won't. And if you try to do that, I mean, Brent's doing it over at Oklahoma right now, but he had to reconstruct the whole structure of the staff, get him a general manager, brought in another offensive coordinator. And I see him sometime on the sideline having to leave a player and run back over and make a game on the field decision. That kind of stuff to me can be very distracting. I don't know how much Lane was in Shamlis's ear, or was it Charlie Jr.? We'll find out. But the kid, kid needed a lot of help moving from a Division II player to a quarterback that led his football team into the national playoffs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions there, and I just think Pete's got a really, really hard, difficult challenge there.
Yeah. As far as Dave, do you have a favorite to win this whole thing right now? And again, folks, if you're a coach or an athletic director, you're watching, and I know some of them are, hire Dave Bartoo. Quit trying to pull your hair out, trying to figure this stuff out. Hire him. And Ellis, Matt, Pete, this panel here, they'll vouch for it. It makes sense. But I'm curious, Dave, because obviously we're SEC sidelines, but we don't live in an echo chamber. So if you want to get us outside of our comfort zone, we're all about it.
Well, no. Like I said, I don't disagree that Georgia has the talent and the coaching to do it. And what's cool is they're going to get to prove it, right? They're going to have to go through Indiana and Georgia to get there, or through Ohio State to get there, and vice versa, right? Whoever wins, it's going to have to go through the three best teams in college football: Indiana, Georgia, and Ohio State. And so, I know Indiana just won. I'd still bet Ohio State rebounding on that. I can say, we were talking about this on Sunday when we were doing our playoff projections. With that win over Ohio State, and I know it's only one game, I don't think there's a better 4-year run of head coaching ever in my lifetime, before and after. I'll never see it again. What Kurt Cignetti has done in the last 4 years is beyond anything I've ever seen in my life. It's just not even comprehensible, the odds of winning all these games with the talent level at Indiana. It's just impossible to imagine. I just can't. But I'm still sticking with Ohio State. You got the number one overall scoring efficiency defense. The top two talented teams, Georgia and Ohio State, that are there. And then you look at the coaching staff, all three of them, Bobo, Smart, Shanahan, Bryant Haynes, Patricia, Day. These are all just really highly graded guys for their entire career, veterans. So I'm looking more forward to the top half of it and seeing what the real big boys do than the little guys getting the crumbs at 8, 9, 10 that everybody's arguing about. So I'll stick with Ohio State, but boy, those top three, I'll be surprised if it's anybody but them now that, sorry, Pete, Notre Dame's gone.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I want to say this now. Indiana's playing really good defense, too. And that hit Mendoza took in the first play of the game for him to come back, that just shows you the toughness and the loyalty to this. But, Dave, I want to commend you for what you do in ranking coaches, and here's why. The greatest insight I got into coaching was my 2 years as a scout for the Dallas Cowboys, because I'd go to different colleges and watch them practice, but I got to watch assistant coaches coach. Matt and Ellis will tell you, we hear about guys when we're coaching. We never see them until sometimes we get to coach with them. Right. And then you go, oh my gosh, this guy's a lot better than I thought. Or, oh my gosh, this guy's not as good as I thought. What you do in ranking those unit coaches is outstanding. And any AD who doesn't use you is at a disadvantage. Because I'm telling you, until you actually work with these guys, you don't really know. It's like players, like Matt said, the one group you never fool are the players. They know who they can trust, and they know who's full of BS.
Yeah.
But
Ellis,
what you do, Dave, is outstanding. And I'm telling you, any AD who doesn't use you, they are hurting their team, their program.
Yeah. Ellis,
I
agree.
second that for sure. I was going to say, I think finally, and I'm not saying they played a cupcake schedule, but they did not play a really good defensive football team until Indiana. And I think they exposed Sayan. Now, you look at Ohio State compared to all the rest of them, eye test, watch them on a game TV, they got the best roster. They got the best depth chart. I mean, they got some guys. When you see some of their linemen and you think, damn, they look different than Alabama's linemen. Yep. I mean, they really do look different. That quarterback has concerned me. I ain't concerned about anything about him, but that quarterback to me is a very average player, and they're just the surrounding cast elevates him. Mm-hmm. And Indiana got to him, and I think that's the formula. If you can hang in there like Indiana did, you can get that quarterback to play subpar level, and you can beat them.
When you have the two best receivers in the country with Tate and Smith, and you can't get them the ball any more than that, come on, dude.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
There's a reason why he's not at Alabama anymore.
Yeah, and there's a reason why Diego Pavia should win the Heisman, Dave Bartoo. Yes. I mean, I think he's trying to come back again next year. And I don't know if he is or not, but and I don't know if he'll play in the NFL or not. That doesn't matter, does it, Dave Bartoo?
No, it doesn't. Matt, Matt was wanting to chime in. Matt's got something on his brain. What you got, bud?
No, I want to ask Pete and Ellis, my college football coaches on the panel today. No one's talking about 2 trips in the red zone, 3rd and 4th and 1, the play calling for Ohio State. They got nothing in the second half. Mm-hmm. And I think Ellis is 100% correct. We saw up close in a national limelight against a really good defense. And I think Aiden Fisher, the middle linebacker, Mike linebacker, whatever, for Indiana is a really exceptional football player. But Ohio State, I don't think they really – I mean, I think you can learn from a loss. I think you can get better from a loss. But, man, guys, I mean, they should have won that game. They should have scored at least 6 points or maybe 10 in those 2 trips to the red zone, Pete, right?
Was Mike Hartline's mind down in Tampa?
Right. That's exactly right.
Hey, look, Lane Kiffin got fired because he was concentrating on a job in Florida. And they fired him.
Yeah. So if Georgia plays Ohio State in the semis, I'm taking Georgia. I am.
There you go.
I just think, by the way, don't be surprised if Miami, now that they're a very dangerous football team. They got a lot of dudes as well. Could Miami beat A&M and then have an Ohio State game where that's a heck of a game? It could be Miami-Georgia in the semis. I'm just saying.
If Carson Beck reverts back to the old Carson, Miami's in trouble.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It all goes by the quarterback.
Yeah. Ellis?
One quick little thing. When I look at the brackets, if I could pick my spot, I like what Oregon and Ole Miss have because they're going to get to play. Yep. And I really think with college kids, you skip 4 weeks, you could lose it.
Yeah.
If you get to play this first game and you're playing a really lesser opponent, so you're not going to hopefully get beat up and or in danger of losing, I think it's an advantage. I think with college kids, I'd rather be playing.
Yeah. Dave Bartoo, great stuff today, man. Tell again how people can get your gummies.
Well, it's my collaboration with the NFL alumni. Everything there is built for pain and sleep and aches. That's at himforpros.com, the Pro Athletes Hemp Association. You use the code Friday 2025 for the rest of Christmas season. You get way more than 25% off Friday 2025. But everything that we've done there has been to help the aches and pains, the sleep, the mind of NFL alumni. And man, I've worked with a lot of guys that got beat up there. So it's great stuff.
Hey, Rob, I ordered the lotion, Rob.
Yeah.
And my package came and I had a handwritten note on the back. Well, you know what it said? Go Irish. Thanks, Bartoo.
Hey, I got the roll on. I got the roll on for the pain, for the shoulder injury that I've got. And I've been using it. That stuff works and it doesn't smell. It's not icy hot. It doesn't burn you. It works. It actually works.
Lemongrass, man. But I turn it over and I'm going, oh my gosh, go Irish. And then they don't get in. Are you?
I jinxed him, Pete. It was me.
Yeah, it was me. Hey, for everybody, look, most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. We're the most blessed people in the greatest country in the history of the world. Cannot thank this panel enough for what y'all do. Every week we do it. And for executive producer Brendan Martin, there you go. Oh,
let's go, baby. Flip the O. Come on, Pete. Flip the O. Go Ducks.
Go Ducks.
Here we go.
go. Here we go. All right, everybody. See y'all tonight.
I
Thanks.
love it.
Have a great day, everybody. I will play like a champion. I will hunt like a champion. We put that up in the Duck Club. I will hunt like a champion.